How far should one truly go in the pursuit of perfection? It's a timeless question that has haunted humanity for centuries, and one that finds a chilling answer in the tale of Queen Elizabeth I. Behind the majestic facade of Tudor England's greatest monarch lay a deadly obsession, transforming her bedchambers into chambers of horror. From frequent hallucinations to the unsettling rituals she performed, the story we're about to unravel reveals the dark underbelly of Elizabethan allure. But how could a queen celebrated for her intellect and political acumen all prey to such deadly obsessions? Join us as we journey through the corridors of power and intrigue to unearth the truth behind the demise of the last monarch of the House of Tudor. Elizabeth Tudor ascended to the English throne in 1558, inheriting a realm torn apart by religious strife and political instability. Despite the challenges she faced, Elizabeth's reign heralded a golden age for England. With her shrewd diplomacy and unwavering resolve, she steered the nation to newfound prosperity and stability. Adorned in elaborate gowns and jewels, her appearance was meticulously crafted to project an image of power and authority. Yet, behind all that glam, she had a bit of a dark secret, a dangerous love affair with her looks that would end up haunting her till the end. Queen Elizabeth I's famous white-painted face and vibrant red wig are still remembered today, long after her reign. To truly grasp why she was so enamored with makeup, we've got to delve into the social norms of her time and what motivated her. In the Elizabethan era, beauty wasn't merely about aesthetics. It was intricately linked to one's social status. Imagine a society where pale skin, rosy cheeks, and pink lips were not just desirable, but considered the epitome of beauty. Women went to great lengths to maintain a complexion that suggested they had never been exposed to the sun's harsh rays, as if outdoor labor was beneath them. Renowned historian David Starkey sheds light on these expectations in his works on Tudor history. He emphasizes how a woman's appearance wasn't just a personal matter, but rather a reflection of her place in society. Beauty, according to Starkey, served as a visible marker of one's status and refinement. So, beyond mere vanity, the pursuit of beauty was a means for women to flaunt their wealth and privilege. And at the forefront of this beauty parade was none other than Queen Elizabeth herself. As the ruler of England, her appearance set the standard for courtly fashion and beauty ideals. But let us tell you, it wasn't all about looking pretty. In a world where men held most of the cards, Elizabeth had to play her hand carefully. You see, the Queen was juggling some seriously tricky politics, and looking flawless wasn't just a choice, it was a survival strategy. Just imagine being in Queen Elizabeth's shoes. Every time she walked into a room, it was like stepping onto a battlefield. If she showed even the slightest hint of weakness, it could have been game over for her. You see, this was a time where power struggles were as common as the morning sun. Any display of vulnerability would have been like blood in the water for her rivals. And she, being a woman in a man's world, made it even tougher. Some people saw her gender as a weakness, questioning whether she had what it took to lead. Crazy, right? That's why every gown, every jewel, every single strand of her perfectly coiffed hair was like a shield against her adversaries. And looking the part meant not only being strong and smart, but also appearing healthy and beautiful. So she didn't just dip her toes into the makeup world, she cannonballed right in. Every stroke of rouge or dab of powder was a deliberate statement of her royal privilege, reinforcing her position as England's rightful ruler. But Elizabeth's love affair with makeup wasn't just about glamour and political maneuvering. She had a secret. You see, when Queen Elizabeth was just 29 years old, she was hit hard by smallpox. Now, smallpox wasn't your run-of-the-mill illness. It was notorious for leaving behind ugly scars as its calling card. Suddenly, the face that had once been a symbol of power and command was marred, opening the doors to doubt about her ability to rule. So what was her response? Well, she didn't sit back and let the scars take over. No way. Instead, she reached for her makeup brushes like a seasoned warrior grabbing her armor before battle. And let us tell you, she went all out. Enter Venetian ceruse, a makeup concoction straight out of a horror story and the Queen's secret weapon. Picture thick layers of this stuff, known as the spirits of Saturn, slathered onto her scarred skin. But hey, this makeup wasn't your average foundation. Oh no, it was a deadly mix of ground-up white lead ore and vinegar. Talk about beauty with a side of poison, right? Guinness World Records even crowned it the most poisonous makeup ever, and for good reason. From lead poisoning to hair loss, skin discoloration, and even a foggy brain. This stuff wasn't just risky, it was downright dangerous. Yet, there was Queen Elizabeth boldly applying layer after layer, all in the name of hiding her imperfections. But little did she know that with each stroke of that toxic brush, she was slowly poisoning herself from within. It's no wonder that decades after her reign, Venetian ceruse was officially labeled as poison. But hey, who needs good health when you've got flawless skin, right? But wait, the madness doesn't end there. Elizabeth wasn't satisfied with just applying this deadly makeup. Oh no, she took it a step further. Her daily routine including using a makeup remover infused with eggshells, alum, and the deadliest ingredient of all, mercury. Yeah, you heard that right. Mercury, the stuff that can mess with your memory, leave you feeling irritable, and even plunge you into depression. Combine that with the corrosive properties of lead, and you've got a recipe for disaster. Even Elizabeth's signature Cinnabar red lipstick wasn't safe. Sure, it gave her lips that vibrant pop of color, but little did she know, it was just adding to the toxic cocktail she was already ingesting. As Elizabeth delved deeper into her cosmetics obsession, things started to take a toll on her health. Her appearance went through some serious changes, and not in a good way. But hey, who needs health when you've got beauty, right? The sacrifices made in the name of vanity. Take her teeth, for instance. They went from pearly white to grossly black, a clear sign of mercury poisoning, and her love for sweets didn't help matters. She'd munch on sugar like it was going out of style, even using it to scrub her teeth with honey paste. But that's not all. Elizabeth's hair started to thin out too. She covered it up with fancy wigs, going to great lengths to hide her baldness. It was a well-kept secret until one day in 1599 when the Earl of Essex walked in on her au naturel. No makeup, no wig. And let's just say it wasn't her finest moment. Now let's talk about Elizabeth's mental state, which was like a storm brewing on the horizon. The loss of her close friends Catherine Howard and Robert Devereux really knocked her for six. But here's where it gets even darker. Remember that toxic makeup she was slathering on her face? Yeah, that stuff wasn't just damaging her skin. It was messing with her head too. It's like adding fuel to the fire in her already fragile mental state. So on top of dealing with the grief of losing loved ones, she's also battling the effects of chemical poisoning. It's no wonder things spiraled into chaos. The toxic makeup Elizabeth was using had begun to even play mind games with her. Her behavior took a bizarre turn as she started experiencing frequent visions and hallucinations of her weakened body, tormenting her day and night. The tales of her private quarters paint a picture of eerie obsession and paranoia. Can you imagine stumbling upon a playing card with a nail driven into its head, resting on the Queen's chair? It sends shivers down your spine just thinking about it. And then there's the disturbing episode where she stood frozen in her room for nearly 15 hours, gripped by a fear that laying down would mean never getting back up. She eventually collapsed onto a floor littered with cushions, refusing to let anyone attend to her or even give her a decent bath. It's like she was retreating into this smelly cocoon of isolation, shutting out the world and its demands. As her final years unfold, her makeup becomes her undoing. It's not just her skin and mind suffering anymore. Her voice also fades into silence. Can you imagine being a queen, unable to communicate with your advisors except through gestures? She had to resort to drawing a circle around her head like a crown to let them know who she wanted to succeed her. And if that wasn't awful enough, there are these crazy stories about her funeral. Some people say her body, filled with all those toxic chemicals from her makeup, actually exploded in the coffin. Now, that might be a bit over the top, but it just adds another layer of tragedy to the whole story. On March 24, 1603, Queen Elizabeth I took her last breath, marking the end of a significant era. While it's evident that Elizabeth endured the harmful effects of lead and mercury poisoning from her makeup, did it actually lead to her death, or were there other factors involved? Some theories suggest that Elizabeth's constant wearing of her coronation ring, worn for 45 years straight, might have played a role. Just a week before her passing, doctors had to remove the ring due to swelling, potentially causing sepsis, a severe blood poisoning. Over time, the ring could have become embedded in her flesh, causing complications. Recent insights from a post-mortem examination conducted by Home Office pathologist Brett Lockyer offer new perspectives. Fluid buildup in Elizabeth's lungs suggests bronchial pneumonia as the probable cause of death. This infection likely spread, leading to blood poisoning and ultimately heart failure. So, while her makeup's toxic effects worsened her health, they may not have been the main culprit. Despite the debate over the exact cause of her death, there's no denying that Elizabeth's relentless pursuit of perfection likely played a part. It serves as a poignant reminder of the risks associated with vanity and the sacrifices made in the name of beauty. And that's it for today. If you found yourself intrigued by the tales of Queen Elizabeth I and want to delve deeper into British history, then you won't want to miss our next video, The Entire History of the UK Beginning to Now, where we unravel the intricate story of Britain's past, from its turmoiled beginnings to the modern era. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay engaged.